Hi everyone, it's Kristen and Emily again from Making Math Make Sense. Today we are going to play one of our virtual math games with you, Rolling with Fractions. I'm going to let Emily go ahead and explain the premise to you while I go ahead and pull it up on the computer.
So Rolling with Fractions is a game where students are going to work on equivalent fractions, trying to cover up holes. Now, at home, students probably don't have manipulatives that they can use, so I give them virtual manipulatives that they can use to play this game for covering up holes. Here's where you're going to have to go in and make a copy of the slideshow. So that way, each of us who are trying to use this digital math game of Rolling with Fractions with our students or as a class, we can each have our own copy. So you have to click make a copy here to get access to the game. So as the Google slide opens up, you're going to see the game board here as the top slide in Google Slides. Kristen, can you go ahead and minimize it a little bit, like zoom out?
I'll zoom out. I don't think I can.
Use the magnifying glass up there under Insert.
Oh, gotcha.
And zoom out. Go to 50%. So you can see here that we have the game board on the inside. So Kristen's going to play on the left because her favorite color is blue. I'm going to play on the right because my favorite color is orange. And we are going to take turns rolling dice, quote unquote rolling dice, because I'm going to show you how to do that on Google Slides here. And we're going to work on covering our fractions. On the left side, you'll see that we have a slide for the game board and we have a slide for directions. Right there are the directions that you can go through and read. We're going to play them right now. So Kristen, I will let you go first. So Kristen's going to go up to the very top on the tools and she's going to click that dice word, if you will, and she's going to roll 2 dice.
Ooh,
so Kristen rolled a 1
and a 1.
Yeah. So Kristen needs to make a fraction less than or equal to 1 whole with her fraction roll or with her dice rolls. So Kristen rolled 1 whole.
So I'm going to go ahead and slide my 1 whole over top of my 1.
So she needed to find a way to make 1 whole and cover up one of the parts on her side of the game board. So she just went ahead and picked her 1 whole. Now it's my turn to roll some dice. Kristen, you got to roll the dice. You have control of the computer.
Sorry, see, I forget that. I was busy drinking my tea.
So I got a 5 over 5, so 5/5. So I could move over all 5/5 of the orange. I could move over something else that is equivalent to 1 whole. So I could move over the 1 whole. I could move over the 2 halves, the 4/4, some combination that's going to be equivalent to 5/5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move over my 3/3 to be equivalent to 5/5. Now I'm doing my thirds because I know if I have 6, I can use that as well for thirds if I need to. Fifths, there's no other fractions on there that would be equivalent to fifths, so I'm going to hold off on using my fifths. That's my thought process behind that play.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice for me. I rolled a 1 and a 5, so I'm going to go ahead and move over my 1/5.
So you can see here we're trying to cover our fractions by rolling some dice.
So Emily has a 5 and a 4. Now, even though it came up as 5 and a 4, you'll see in the directions, we have to take the numbers that we roll and we have to turn them into a fraction that is less than or greater than 1. In this round, we don't want kids actually playing with fractions greater than 1. That is a modification you can make for the game and have kids compare the length of time it takes to play with playing with fractions greater than 1 compared to if we keep our fractions less than or equal to 1. So Emily has 5 and a 4 that she has to turn into a fraction.
So can you go ahead and move over 4/5? So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. And that's exactly what I would do with students. I would be counting out those unit fractions as they move them over, or I'd be asking them to count out the unit fractions that they're moving over.
Okay, so I rolled a 1 and a 5. So I have another 1/5 that I'm going to go ahead and move over here.
Now, let's see if we can roll some numbers that we can't move. If I rolled, okay, so I have 4, 6. So I could move over 4, 1, 6, another fraction that would have been equivalent to 4, 6. You can see them lined up, and you have the fraction tiles on the paper to help you see those equivalent fractions. I could have moved over 2/3, but since I've moved over all 3 of my thirds already, I have to stick with those 4, 6.
Or another way she could have done it, she could have done 1/2 and 1/6.
Absolutely. So you could do that combination. So 5th grade works on adding fractions with unlike denominators. So that's where you can pull that 5th grade standard in. They, like Kristen said, doing 1/2 plus 1/6 is the same as 4/6. So this game hits all kinds of our number sensitive fraction standards.
All right, I rolled a 6 and a 5. So again, I have to turn that into a fraction less than 1. So I have 5/6. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2.
Which is equivalent to how many 6?
Which is equivalent to 3/6. So then I'm going to do 4/6, 5/6.
Now, if you were in class, you could absolutely print this game board off and have the fraction tiles with your students in class, and you could be playing this game in person too. It doesn't have to be played digital, but we wanted to give you guys the digital option. So
I can also have students record down what they rolled and what they covered up.
Yep. I rolled a 2 and a 5, so I have 2/5, and that actually will finish off that last hole for me on the bottom. So please move over 2/5.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but that last one on the bottom.
Oh, those are 6. I can't see from here. I need to put my glasses on. All right, so I cannot make this play. So I have lost a turn.
Oh, that's such a shame. All right, so now I'm going to roll 2 dice. I have a 5 and a 2. So I'm going to move over 2/5. So I'm going to move over 1/5 and 1/5, which gives me 2/5. All right, let's see if you get to play this time. 3 and 4.
I do get to play. So I could move over 3 individual 1/4s, or I could move over 1/2 and 1/4. Let's go ahead and move over 1/2 and 1/4, please.
1/2 and 1/4. Great way, again, to practice the adding unlike denominators in there, showing the equivalent fractions, how we change that up. All right, 2 dice, 3 and 6. So I have 3/6.
Kristen, what else could you do besides pulling over 3/6?
I could also, and that's what I'm thinking about here, I could also pull over 1/2. I could also pull over 2/4. I'm gonna go ahead and pull over my 3 1/6 pieces. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. All right. Emily's turn. 5 and 3.
Ah, 3/5. I only have 1/5 left. I lost my turn.
All right, I'm going to roll. I have a 4 and a 5, so I have 4/5, so I can't do anything with 4/5.
So now that we've had a few plays each here, you guys are starting to see the point of the game is we are trying to cover up our board by rolling some dice that we are making fractions out of. You are trying to find equivalent fractions. You are adding unit fractions. You could do multiplying the whole number by a unit fraction. This is a great game to hit those standards and reinforce what you're doing in the classroom. We hope you enjoyed, and check out our next digital game.